It's early April, and it's been a really cold winter here in the Chattanooga area. And fishing Lake Chickamauga it's been really hot or cold literally all spring long. So the fish have really been kind of forced between the shallows and the deeper water. But now that things are warming up and spring is finally here to stay, these fish are starting to really move up, and the lake is rising. So what I'm going to try to do today is kind of figure out which phase of the spawn the fish are in. This time of year, it's all about pre-spawn, spawn, and probably not a whole lot of post-spawn, but there's probably some. And essentially, I'm going to cover some water, start out with a swim jig, and then probably slow down with something like a wacky rig, Z-Man Zinkers, you know, a stick bait underneath docks and on these clear flats. That's kind of a really good technique to be able to you know, cast at isolated pieces of the structure where the fish likely are spawning. So really what I'm trying to do is just cover water, find those areas that are protected where the fish are likely going to spawn, and see if I can't catch some big ones. He almost looks like a spotted bass. That is a spawner if I've ever seen one. Man, I thought he was a spotted bass at first. Little buck, probably on the bed right now. Awesome. That wacky rig, Zinkers, man. Great clear water tactic for fish that are spawning or roaming around the shallows looking to spawn. It's about as good as it gets right there. Skip it underneath docks, just throw it out in open water. Just see that little tick? Set the hook. There's a fish. Nice pre-spawn bass. Right there. That's probably a male too. You know, just roaming around looking for the bed that he's gonna make. That's a good one. There we go. All right. Man, the best thing about the wacky rig is, I mean, not only are you catching fish like this, but you hook them so good with that little hook. It's kind of counterintuitive, such a small hook, and you're getting such good hookups. Man, this carp are going crazy. That is a solid springtime fish, man. That's probably a male too. Put him back. Getting to the lake today, essentially, you know, the biggest challenge is to figure out exactly the small little areas the fish are at. They're not going to be spread out necessarily. They're going to be, you're going to find little pockets, little bays that have more fish than others, and so covering water is really important. And this morning I started off with a swim jig. This right here is a great presentation. Of course, I got a little diesel minnows trailer on it. Perfect presentation for the springtime, especially with this slightly clearer water, because I could cover a lot of water and get some good reaction strikes out of them. However, they weren't hitting this today. I didn't even get one flash at it, which is very, very abnormal for this time of year. But you know, I still kind of figure that the fish were still in the areas that I was throwing this around. So sometimes you gotta kind of slow things down a little bit. One of my favorite tactics for slowing down, especially since it's a little bit clear water right now, is a wacky rig. A weightless wacky rig with a little Z-Man Zinkers on there. This is the Easy Money color. Perfect color combination for this kind of greenish stained water we've got here. And I essentially just started casting this around docks to begin with. Docks are a really good type of cover for pre-spawn and post-spawn bass to kind of hang underneath, and they even spawn around the poles of them. So anytime you've got a situation where you're fishing around docks, you can skip this underneath there, and you can catch a lot of fish that normally wouldn't hit anything else. And that's exactly what I did. I got 2 bites really quick. The first one was kind of in between 2 docks, and it kind of led me to believe that fish in particular was spawning. And then I caught a slightly bigger one of the bigger ones of the day, underneath the walkway of the dock. So he was probably a pre-spawn fish. It was either a big male or a smaller female. And so that kind of keyed me in on what was going on, and that I could catch them on the Zinkers. And from then, I just kind of started, because it's a very windy day, it's like 10 to 20 mile an hour winds. So the struggle is finding those key little calm, protected bays and pockets where these fish are going to start spawning.